Forgiveness. What does it cost? And what is it worth? What does it cost? Well, maybe you've been put in a place where you've been hurt really bad. You see, when people we don't really know or who don't know us do or say something bad towards us, we might not like it, but it's not a thing which will really give us massive, massive, massive pain on the inside. But when someone close to us, when someone who we share a loving, intimate, trusting relationship with, when they hurt us, we feel the pain inside, we feel the betrayal, we feel the rejection. And that's like a kick in our gut. And from that place, we feel anger, and we feel the temptation to want to get even, to punish that person's wrong towards us. Forgiveness. What does it cost? Well, it costs. The cost is to absorb that anger, pain, and injustice into ourselves instead of taking it out on the person who has done the wrong to us. Good Friday is like that. God becomes a man in Jesus Christ, and he takes upon himself the anger and punishment for our wrongs so that we can go free. God absorbs that into himself so that we don't take the punishment that we deserve. As Isaiah 53 says, he was wounded for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. So, forgiveness, what does it cost? But also forgiveness, what is it worth? In order to forgive, the desire has to be there to restore what was lost. The desire has to be there to reconcile with the person who has hurt us, doesn't it? And when we forgive, that is what we seek to do. Good Friday is like that as well. A little bit later in Isaiah 53, it says this about Jesus. Out of the anguish of his soul, he shall see and be satisfied. All that Jesus went through on the cross meant anguish for his soul, meant suffering that we cannot imagine. But in achieving what he did on the cross, it means that in his resurrection, he once again receives life. And it says in that verse, and he is satisfied. What is forgiveness worth? Well, it's worth us coming back to God. And so part of that satisfaction that Jesus receives is the satisfaction of having us back. I've been reading this book in recent weeks by a guy called Tim Chester called The Beauty of the Cross. And I just want to read something quickly from it. This is what Tim Chester says. If you've put your faith in Christ, then you've been redeemed from sin and reconciled to God. And Jesus is happy with what he sees. Your salvation is his satisfaction. When he looks at you, he is pleased with what he sees. He looks at you and says, "It was worth it." Forgiveness, what does it cost? It costs God absorbing the punishment, taking the punishment for sin. Forgiveness, what is it worth? Well, from God's perspective, it's worth having us back. Good Friday teaches us and shows us the love of God that is at work on our behalf. I'm going to finish with some words again from the same book, from a guy called Thomas Manton, who was a minister back in the 17th century. We usually think the highest expressions of love involve someone acting out of character in order to do us good, as when a stern person is tender or a cautious person is bold. So it is that the greatest ever act of self-denial was when Christ became sin for us. Oh, work this truth into your hearts and display it before your faith. My hope is that God works this truth into our hearts, that we can know the wonder of forgiveness this Good Friday and always.